Hey everyone, Justice Good here, and welcome to the first episode of Let's Photoshop. This will be a segment where I take you through the process of editing a photo, and hopefully you can learn something different each time along the way. In this specific segment, I'm going to go over how you can use gradients and blending modes along with adjustment layers to change the color or mood of your photo, and specifically we're going to add some warmth to this photo here. It's already a great quality photo to start out with, and it's got some nice depth of field, and I think some warmth would play along nicely with all the blues in the photo. So instead of your usual color adjustment, we're actually going to go over to Layer, New Fill Layer, and select Gradient, and we're going to add colors using gradients. So once this menu pops up, go ahead and hit OK, and then it'll start with your preset with Photoshop's default gradient, which is usually this one here. It might be different for you, but no matter what it is, just go ahead and double click on the gradient bar to edit this, and you'll come up with this menu here, which is the gradient editor. Now Photoshop has a lot of presets, but the great thing is you can create your own. And this is the gradient that we're going to be creating. So what you want to do, let's say you started off with this one here, you can double click on these color pickers and change the colors. And you can also click on any point in the line to add a third or fourth or fifth color. So in the end, you're going to want to double click on the left. I'm going to use a very dark orange, almost black. This exact color, if you want to use it, is 251A00. And then about 64% of the way down the line, you're going to click and add a new color, and this is going to be a medium orange. My exact color is EA8B29, and you can type that in and you'll get the exact color I'm using here. And on the very end of the line, you're going to use a pale light orange. I'm using FFD8BO. And you don't want to mess around with any of the diamonds in the middle, but just to show you what they are, if you drag them to the left, it kind of cuts off one or the other color, but we'll leave them right in the middle. Also, another thing to think about, you can adjust the opacity of the line as a whole. So I can fade the bottom half of the line and vice versa. So pretty powerful tool there. But go ahead and select OK once you have this light to dark orange gradient. And under the style here, Photoshop gives you a drop down menu where you can make a couple different, you can start and end the gradient in a couple different ways. So what you want to use is radial. And then since we started from dark to light, if you actually just click reverse, make sure that box is checked, it'll create kind of like an orange glow. Now the scale is going to be different for each photo, but if you increase the scale, you want to make it so that it's not just like a tiny orb. It's more like a smooth transition from a dark border, a dark soft border to a light glowing center. I am using a scale of 145%. Also, I just like to check dither. It increases the quality of the gradient. Angle doesn't really matter for, I guess it does matter, but angle, let's say if you're using a linear gradient, angle lets you determine the angle that the gradient goes. But we'll keep ours at 90%, radial, and 145% scale. So go ahead and select OK once your gradient looks like this. And now to use this gradient to adjust the colors of the photo, we're going to change the blending mode of it. So it's on normal right now, but what I'm going to use is overlay. And as you can see, that automatically gives it a really nice vignette, like a dark vignette, and a glowing orange center, which plays nicely with some of the blues in the photo. If it's too strong of an effect for your photo, you can lower the opacity a bit, anywhere from 50 to 100%, and it should still look nice. I'm going to lower mine just a tad. And now, to add some final touches, you want to go ahead and go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer. And I'm actually going to use the Levels adjustment to bring out some of the midtones that we lost when we used that harsh blending mode. So if you select OK, it'll create a new adjustment layer and it'll pop up your Levels panel. So all I'm going to do on my Levels panel is I'm going to take this black marker on the output and lift it up a little bit. So what that does is it tells Photoshop that it can only use the color range from this very dark gray to white. So that actually eliminates some of the true jet blacks in the photo and softens up the image as a whole. And then to increase the contrast a bit, I'm going to move the middle slider a bit to the right and the left slider, or the rightmost slider a bit to the left. And you can see, you can play around with this. It increases the contrast. So just to show you, that's with Levels and that's before Levels. It's just a very slight change, but it brings out some of the detail that you lost, and it gives it a kind of cool lighter effect, kind of like it was taken with a very nice camera. So at this point you could continue tweaking it to your liking, but I think that simple gradient layer along with a blending mode and then some final touches really brings out a new mood and warmth to this photo. So here's the after and the before. It really changes the whole mood of the photo and shifts your focus to the center of the photo. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you like this new series, Let's Photoshop, and each week will be a different topic or effect. It could be a color effect or a manipulation, but hopefully you can learn something along the way. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more tutorials. Leave me a comment for something you'd like to see in the future or if you had any questions, and I'll see you next time.